Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. Hope you guys all had an incredible Halloween last night. This one is going out to I Am Ryan Banks. Vic, great meeting you at EGLX. Keep up the fine work, brother. Thank you so much. Let's get started with your rundown. The final characters for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate have been announced, or have they? Nintendo held a special Nintendo Direct presentation this morning where they announced two new fighters for the game. They are the fiery pocket monster Incineroar from Pokemon Sun and Moon, and Street Fighter's Ken, who joins the roster as an Echo Fighter. This brings the total number of characters to no less than 74. Nintendo says they won't be announcing any new main fighters before launch, but that doesn't include Echo Fighters, so a few more might be unveiled before the game comes out. We'll also be getting more characters after launch, because Nintendo has confirmed that the game will have 5 separate waves of post-launch DLC, each offering a new character and stage. On top of that, anyone who pre-orders the DLC will get access to another new character, the Ravenous Piranha Plant. Finally, Nintendo says that every new fighter joining the roster, that is, fighters who didn't appear in previous Smash Bros., will be getting their own amiibo figures, although some of the figures won't be available until next year. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate lands December 7th. This game is a monster. Holy crap, is Nintendo throwing a lot of resources at this thing. It's gonna, I think, include every game out there, maybe some journalists from video games. I think I'm one of the fighters, and they're gonna make an amiibo of me, which is gonna be awesome. No, listen, I can't wait to play this thing. I got a good taste of the game a couple times at E3 and at Fan Expo. They also had it, and I also played it at EGLX on stage in front of people, which was really crazy for me to do because I'm not very good at Smash Brothers, but I started to learn some nuance, and I got trained by pros a little bit in real time on stage in front of thousands of people. But I had a great time, and I can't wait, man. I think this game is going to be one of the standouts on the machine. I think this is going to be one of those reasons why people take the Joy-Con off the thing and share it with people at airports and on trains and buses. I don't know if they could do it on a bus, but I think it's going to be incredibly popular and super fun, and basically taking in all the learnings and lessons and all the characters and all the data that they've compiled over many years of Smash Brothers success and sort of making the best effort ever. Can't wait. I think it's going to be great, and I think it's going to sell a lot of Nintendo Switches. All right, microtransactions have begun rolling out in Black Ops 4, and as you might expect, not everyone is happy about it. Yesterday afternoon, Activision and Treyarch launched microtransactions in the PS4 version of the game. At first glance, the microtransactions appear to be cosmetic only, but as many players have discovered, that's not really the case. The way the microtransactions work is players can buy a new in-game currency called COD points, which can then be used to unlock more advanced tiers for better cosmetic items. The problem is that players who don't spend money can only unlock those tiers by grinding through the game, which many have argued is Activision's way of encouraging them to just give in and spend the extra dough. The microtransactions can also be used to improve your progress in the game itself, because players can also buy extra Nebulian Plasma to unlock extra perks in the Zombies mode. All told, the microtransactions in Black Ops 4 work very differently than they did in the last Call of Duty game, so it remains to be seen if the backlash against them will continue to grow or fizzle out. They hit the Xbox One and PC versions of the game next week. You know what? We're gonna have a battle royale for who can be the most fair to their customers in these battle royale games, and I think that there's going to be a huge sort of community kind of swivel over to which game company gets it right and is the most fair with all of this stuff. You know what? I think at this point it's fair to say, keep your complaints coming. Help this industry tune this. Help make the industry make people happy customers. I think that's really, really important. If they're going to turn every one of these games that we're going to play and review and look at and talk about, an economics lesson for everybody in our circles, then I think it's incumbent on every consumer out there that's paying to get into these beta tests for these different economies to talk about what pisses them off about it. So if it pisses you off that they've got these different tiers and different layers of microtransactions and unlockables in this game, let Activision and let Treyarch know, because clearly there's tons of money being made, and that money does convert on lots of different projects and properties and keeps people employed. Absolutely, that is happening, but also there is a lot of extra profit being made, and somewhat at the expense of encouraging everyone to participate in video games, because they're making hordes and hordes, no pun intended for all you zombie fans out there, of angry consumers around this thing, and they're telling all their friends that they're pissed off. That is not good for video games, and frankly, no other entertainment out there is providing their content like this. You know, it's just in video games where you get little chunks and little morsels, and you can download this little widget and you can have that. I mean, we wouldn't accept it in television shows. I guess they have, you know, episodes that you can buy or not, but it's not quite the same. You don't get a chunk of the episode if you don't spend the tier or grind through it. You know, you pay your money, you get the entertainment. And in this kind of case in video games, cosmetic is fine. You want to customize your character, fully cosmetic, absolutely fine. If there's any kind of leveling up or stat boosting or you know, incentives or improvements made on people that spend money on stuff and they play competitively online, it's not cool. So if that's the case with this, and honestly, I haven't, you know, had time to go back and dive into all of this and explore all of this stuff, but it grinds my gears, as you can probably tell, that so much of the conversation around video games is how many different ways game companies make their money in their video games. It's crazy. Let's talk about the art. Let's talk about the blood, sweat, and tears that Treyarch obviously put into this really massive and fun experience. Anyways, let's move on. Chinese and American film companies are going to come together once again to see Jason Statham battle a giant shark. We could have all called this one. A sequel to the fishy blockbuster The Meg is on the way. According to Variety, the film's executive producer Catherine Ying announced the follow-up while speaking at a recent U.S.-China media summit, saying that they're in the very early stages of development. The Meg was actually a co-production between Warner Brothers and several Chinese film studios, and with more than $500 million earned at the box office, it's the biggest U.S.-China co-production in history. These kinds of partnerships are particularly important right now because China recently overtook the U.S. to become the world's largest film market. And you know what? I think that was one of the best things about The Meg, is that it was such a unique perspective and vantage point. There were so many Asian locations and Asian characters in the movie, and I thought that was great. I thought it was like, wow, okay, we're not just going to get the standard run-of-the-mill looking Jason Statham experience. There was a lot of run-of-the-mill Jason Statham action and activity in that movie, and it was silly and stupid, but it was fun as well. And I think one of the key components of it being so fun is that we had all of these, you know, different kinds of human beings in there that we don't normally see in these big movies. So I'm all for this. I think we live in a globalized world, and we have, you know, a multicultural sensibility in most aspects of our lives, with the people that we work with, the people who go to school with, the people that we're friends with, and honestly, we need to see that reflected in our entertainment. And I think this is great. It's a good move, and it'll be interesting to see when we start to see more Asian superheroes and you know, bigger roles for different ethnicities out there. I think that's a very cool thing, and it is our future. There's no way around it. We all live on this big blue marble together. All right, with so many big games out right now, you might have forgotten that Just Cause 4 is right around the corner. Square Enix and Avalanche Studios have unveiled the post-launch Season Pass content for their upcoming open-world game. 3 DLC packs will drop starting in early 2019, each offering a distinct tone. The first is called Daredevils and is based around racing. The second is called Demons and will take the game in a more supernatural and horror-themed direction. The final pack is called Danger and is based around the science fiction genre. Square Enix hasn't said how much each pack will cost, but we do know that the Season Pass is included in the Gold Edition of the game, which costs $120 in Canada. Just Cause 4 lands December 4th, and if everybody can remember what they did with Just Cause 3, they mixed up the formula quite a bit and gave us air, sea, and land missions, and that's a fun toy box environment that they create every time with these crazy Just Cause games. Blake and I are actually going down to check out Just Cause 4 at an event next week, and I can't wait for it. When we saw it at E3, it was just a lot of explosions and a lot of ways to kind of tether explosions together. That's what I remember about the game. So I'm looking forward to kind of checking out a little bit more of the nuance and getting some hands-on, and of course we'll report back to you guys about that, and we'll also have some interviews and stuff about the game. But I had a lot of fun with Just Cause 3. I like this franchise. I think it's crazy. I think it's maybe a little bit too soon for Just Cause 4 to come out, because Just Cause 3 just feels like it was a minute ago, but this business moves fast, and if this is super fun, I want to get all into it. I'm not quite ready to leave my Red Dead Redemption 2, though. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for our rundown. Let's look at this day and everything cool.